You ready?
Oh, no. Go.
Today, I'm going to show you how I eat sandwiches. Today, I'm going to paint a big piece of art because that's what I really like painting, actually. We're going to go pick out what canvas to paint really quick. And we're going to get started. All right, so as you can see, this is a pretty big canvas. It's actually, what is this? I think it's 4 feet by 10 feet. But anytime you've got a canvas that's over 8 feet, you have to seam it using 2 separate pieces of plywood or underlayment, in this case. Yeah, 40 inches by 120 inches. So this canvas is seamed, as you can see from the back. Still need to go back and like break these brad nails off, but we're not gonna worry about that today. The trick with bigger canvases is hiding the seam with resin. Every little thing shows up, so it's really tricky to hide the seam. Anytime I have my guys build canvas now, I try to tell them to attempt to bow the seam in and not out. That way the resin will pull up and hide that. So on a big, long canvas like this, I'm gonna put as many touch points underneath it as I can. That way it doesn't bow. Just like the other pieces that I've done, I always try to prop it up in the middle. With something that's as long as this, 10 feet, I would prop it up probably in 5 different places, spanning the length of the canvas. So now we're done setting that up, nice and balanced. So I'm sure they make bigger buckets than these, but these are the biggest ones that I use. We'll probably need to use 2 of these 5-gallon buckets of resin to finish this first layer on this one, but we'll see as we go. So we'll start with 1 5-gallon bucket. We'll go 2.5 gallons of resin and just over 2.5 gallons of hardener. Remember, I always like to add just a little extra hardener than required. I don't always follow instructions. Actually, I typically never follow instructions. That has allowed me to stumble across techniques that I otherwise wouldn't have stumbled across through experimentation and that sort of thing. So before I throw the hardener in there, I want to have everything else prepped. Remember, after you mix the resin, you're on a timer. So you have to work quick. Basically get all the stuff done before the resin hardens. Especially on a bigger canvas like this, you need to have everything prepped up before you start to mix hardener into it. So in this case, instead of using little cups, I'll use, I like to reuse these buckets, even though they've already got resin in the bottom of them from previous pours. I will reuse these things as many times as I can. And a lot of times, you know, I'll save what's in the bottom and cut them out so I can, I don't know, one day use them for a different project. You know, the more you reuse them, the more dimensional they get. So they kind of like end up being some really cool pieces, and I'll show you those in another video because I've got a bunch of them stashed out in the next room. And this is the bucket that I'm gonna pour into. I've got my setup of stir sticks. I actually will run with just a few cups for like some smaller colors, smaller quantity of colors, a little bit of some of that orangish color, some of this, some of that. You know what? I'm just gonna use a bunch of random stuff. It's already kind of here, and let's just, let's see where it goes. So maybe we'll like do a bunch of neutrals and more like earthy tones, and with some cool colors. I get so excited over these big pieces. They get me pumped up. They really do. You ready? I like that color.
I'm a